So Facebook is probably one of the social media platforms you've heard the most about. It's been around the longest. It's kind of the original social media. And we're going to talk about how to market your small business with Facebook. So let's start out by answering the question, what is it? Facebook is a social networking site. It's a medium for communicating your brand, and it's actually the most widely used medium across all age groups. So as you can see with that stat, the majority of American adults use Facebook. So your customers are on Facebook. You should be on Facebook. It's a tool for telling the story of your brand, not only to your potential customers, but also your collaborators and your industry peers. So you're networking with a few different groups of people. They're all important, they're all vital to your success, and you should be able to tell the story of your brand to all of those people. Facebook is definitely an opportunity to meet your audience where they already are. As we talked about, the majority of them are on Facebook. So you need to be too. You need to be where they're at. So let's talk about how to get started with Facebook. The first thing you'll want to do is create a page, and the category of that page will likely be a local business or place. You'll want to steer away from creating a personal page as a business, so pretending that your business is a person. That just gets a little bit hard in terms of how people will search for you, how they can interact with your brand, how people are able to tag you and collaborate with you on Facebook. So our recommendation is to become a local business or place page. When you're doing all of this and creating your account, you're going to make sure you choose a relevant name. If possible, the business name that you use on everything else, because you want people who are searching for your page to be able to find you. And so they're going to be searching for what they know and what they've seen other places. You are going to have a profile picture and a cover picture. You want to make sure you're uploading high quality, relevant profile and cover photos. So make sure those tie back to your brand. If at all possible, incorporate your logo and maybe a tagline into those. They could be seasonally oriented. You could change those that way, but you want to make sure they're relevant, and when people see them, they identify that that is a part of your brand and who you are. Lastly, you want to ensure that your about section is complete and that your bio is concise. People have a really short attention span. We just recently learned at a networking event, actually, that our attention spans are less than that of a goldfish at this point in our lives. So make sure everything is concise. Keep it short, sweet but short. Take time definitely to get comfortable with the analytics on Facebook. So in case you've never seen an analytics page on Facebook before, it will tell you a lot about your customer base, where they live, how old they are, whether or not you have more male or female fans. You can find out a lot. You'll see what posts are getting the most attention. So spend a lot of time looking at those analytics and figuring out how you can use them to your advantage. You're going to have a lot of valuable marketing information just for free at your fingertips. So to create a Facebook page, you're just going to go to facebook.com/pages/create. So now that we've talked about how to create a Facebook page, let's talk about how to create an ideal Facebook post. This on the right is an example of a Ben & Jerry's, as in the ice cream, post to their Facebook page. And in this post, they tag the bakery that provides them with the brownies for their chocolate fudge brownie ice cream. And then they also give a link to more information about the program they talk about in this post. In addition to those two things, they also use a visual, a picture, the ABC 123 brownie cutouts. So this is a great example of a really good post. It has a lot of variety. It has good punctuation and grammar. It sends you somewhere else, gives you something to look at, and also tags and leads back to another company's Facebook page. So in the bullets on the left, you'll see a couple things that you can remember when you're thinking about how to create an ideal post. So the first is to use correct grammar and punctuation. This is really important because you want to be professional. So that is something people will notice right away if you're not doing that. You also want to include visuals for better performance because it entertains people more, gives them something to look at, catches their eye. So you could use videos, photos, multiple photos, any of that, or any combination of that. You also want to make sure you're tagging other pages when relevant. And this is sort of a common courtesy because if you're going to tag them, that encourages them to tag your company when it's relevant for them to do so. So you're leading people to each other's pages and helping each other get more traffic. So in the long run, it will help you because you're providing a common courtesy to other businesses in hopes that they will return the favor to your page as well. You always want to include links when relevant. So if you have more information about something you're posting about on your website or on your blog or on someone else's website or blog, link to that so people can learn more if they want to and they can interact with your brand more. You also want to keep your text short and sweet, just like your bio on Facebook. We have a short attention span, so just tell us what we want to know. So now that we've talked about the pieces of an ideal Facebook post, let's talk about the big picture, all the pieces of an ideal Facebook page. This is another screenshot of Ben & Jerry's Facebook. The most important part about this screenshot is you can see they have a variety of content. So they have videos, photos, and they also have posts you can see on their feed to the right that use text and photos as well. They're definitely getting a lot of interaction. People are liking and commenting and sharing their posts. That's a good sign that they're doing something that people like. If you on your page haven't posted any videos, for instance, that would be empty, an empty tab on your page. So you want to make sure you have that content so that it shows up and people have a lot of different things to look at. There's also some bullets I have to the left to help you keep in mind some different pieces of the ideal page. So first of all, that you're offering a wide variety of content like Ben & Jerry's is doing, text, photo, video. You want to make sure you're responding to comments on your pictures and posts. That's really important. Your customers don't want to feel ignored, and they're actually pretty high maintenance. We have come to expect a lot from our brand, so when we comment or message them, we expect them to respond in a timely manner. So as quickly as you can, respond to those. You also want to consistently post content. So if it helps you come up with a schedule or come up with a goal, maybe your first goal is to post once a week and you're moving towards posting 2 to 3 times a week, moving towards posting every day, moving towards posting 2 to 3 times a day. Having goals might help you stick to a schedule. Whatever works for you, do that because you want to make sure you're consistent. If you just show up every few months, your consumers are going to be really disappointed because they can't interact with you on a regular basis, and you're going to be losing that opportunity to build a relationship with them. Also, again, make sure you're linking to other places. So link to your website and your other sources like a blog or an online store. Send people to more places that they can interact with you. Also, make sure you're representing your brand. So when you're thinking about setting all this up, you really want to ask yourself the hard questions about who you are as a brand and what represents you best. Again, if it helps you to come up with guidelines, if you have someone else who's helping you run your Facebook, you definitely want to have guidelines about who you are and what type of content you post and what kind of personality you have and all of those things. So be yourself, be your brand, and make sure you're representing that well. We're just going to walk through some of the different features of Facebook, how to do some of the basic things like posts and kind of check out the analytics and all that good stuff. Mess around with these tabs at the top, your page, your messages, your notifications, your insights, and your publishing tools. So on your page, you're going to have the option to use Facebook either as an individual. So right now I'm logged into Jessica's account. So I have the choice to use Facebook as Jessica, or if I go to this little tiny arrow right here, and I click on it, I can use Facebook as any of the other pages I'm an administrator of. So I'm going to click to use it as Suites. So then I can go ahead and make a post. So I click on this section that says, what have you been up to? And this is where I would type what I've been up to. So, happy Tuesday, for instance. And then if I want to add a picture, I just click on the camera button. And I could click any picture that I want to. And I can even add multiple pictures. So you see this little plus sign. So you can definitely add more than one, which is one of the great features of Facebook compared to Instagram. So often what we do as Suites is we'll post one picture to Instagram and then make an album on Facebook. So for instance, this post from today, on Instagram we only posted this one picture of these cupcakes, and on Facebook we made an album that allows people to go look at more pictures from that set of cupcakes. So we're differentiating our content between mediums. People aren't seeing the same things on both platforms, and we're using the advantages of Facebook to make an album. So say you decide you don't want to make that post, I'm just going to refresh my page, confirm that I want to leave the page. Oh, let's go back for a second. I wanted to show you also, it's really important to use locations as much as possible because it'll allow your posts and your page to be found more often. So even if you're just at your own business, I was at Suites when I took this. Cross this out. Or maybe I was in downtown Laramie. Maybe I was at the train depot. Wherever you were, go ahead and click on that place so you'll be able to be found more easily. All right, so I don't really want to post that after all. So I'm going to refresh my page. Leave it. So now let's take a look at how you check messages. So we get a lot of inquiries through our messages platform. You'll just go up here. When you have a new message, it'll let you know. There'll be a little notification right there. So click messages, and this is where you can communicate on here. So you go into your messages, you click on one that you have from someone, and you have the option to create saved replies, but those are really impersonal, so I would recommend always writing your own reply. So you would just type in this box here, and then when you want to send it, you just hit the reply button. And people do expect a response very quickly with Facebook. The more studies they do, the more they're finding out that we just want to be responded to quicker and quicker as customers. So just keep that in mind when you're using Facebook messages. Reply as soon as you can, but obviously don't feel pressured to respond when you're at home in bed, getting ready to go to sleep. Have boundaries, but respond as quickly as you can. So now let's check out our notifications tab. This is a place you want to check on a regular basis, every day, more than one time a day. It'll tell you who's liked your post, who's checked in at your location, who's liked your page. It'll tell you if anyone's tagged you in anything, which is important because then you have the chance to say thank you or respond to whatever they've tagged you in and said about you. For instance, the University of Wyoming College of Business made us Laramie Business of the Week a while back. So going through our notifications, I can see that. I click on it. It takes me to the post that they made about me, or about Sweets, where we can like it, and then you can see right here we said, thank you for naming us the Laramie Business of the Week, which is really important networking. They commented back and said, you're very welcome, you have a wonderful business. So we want to go ahead and like that response as well. We want them to make sure that we're paying attention to what they're saying about us and that we appreciate them giving us this publicity. So I'll go back to my notifications. So you can see all the important things that are happening right there. Now let's check out our insights. So this is the analytics we've been referring to. Right now we have a lot of down arrows because it's the first day of the week for us, so we haven't posted for a couple days because we've been traveling for weddings or we have been out of the office. But it's a good way to let you know, so we can tell looking at this, we're not doing enough right now. We need to do more to get our reach back up to what it was. It tells you about your engagement. So from last week, how many people have we had like our posts? How many comments have we had? How many people have shared our content? And then this is an interesting one because you might feel discouraged that only 9 people have commented on something. But we can see here that 911 people clicked on our post. So maybe they didn't share or comment or like or do something that's really easy for us to see their engagement. They are engaging. So that's a good way to feel encouraged that people are at least interested enough to click on something. That means they're probably reading it and looking at it and maybe just not taking the time to engage further. But there is some engagement there. It'll also compare your most recent posts in terms of how many people they reached, how much engagement they received, and then it'll give you the option to boost those posts. So if we're going to boost a post, click boost, and then it gives you a lot of different options for targeting. So say I want to just target people who I choose, which is the best way. You never really want to do people who like your page and their friends. I read somewhere the other day, unless you're a global brand, it's not really relevant. You don't know anything about their friends. Maybe their friends are 30 years older than them and live on the East Coast and you're on the West Coast. So unless you have something for a global network, it's not going to be very relevant for people who like your page and their friends. You're going to target the people who like your page in a very different way than the people you choose through targeting who maybe don't like your page yet. So let's say we go with people we choose through targeting. We have a default audience, but let's say we're starting a new one. We're going to go to create new audience. Let's say we're creating an audience titled University of Wyoming Females. So we're only going to want cities within 10 miles of where we're at, just in case, and I'm only putting that in case they live outside of town a little bit, because you have to think we are a rural community. So their ages, if they're freshmen, they are probably around 18. And then if they're seniors, probably 25 would be the peak there. We're picking women. So for an interest, I might add, first of all, I need to spell university, right? University of Wyoming for one of their interests. Okay, so then I hit save. So sometimes if you have a smaller group, it'll say your estimated reach is unavailable. I might edit this audience, see what happens when I take out University of Wyoming. See if they give us another reach. Nope. All right, so we're going to keep University of Wyoming as one of their interests. So then you pick a budget. You can pick anything you want. It's always good to start small, and you can add more if you want to. So say I'm going to run this for a weekend, I might think about, say, $10 a day. So I'll run this for $30, and I can choose to run the ad starting today. Oh, it's going to start today. I choose to run this ad until a certain point. So I'll say, they can have it Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. I will spend $10 a day. Then I have to choose a payment, and then all I have to do is hit boost. So that's a pretty easy way to increase your reach and target a specific group of people. You can choose any kind of people you want. We have a Wyoming Women with Money category, and that category actually tells us how many people we might reach with this budget and this timeline. That's 4,400 to 12,000 people. So that's a pretty good reach. You can see how easy, even with $30, we're going to reach that many people when normally we might only reach a few hundred. Also, under your insights, you can have pages you watch. So say it's other businesses that you're interested in, you're collaborating with. Maybe it's competitors. You want to see how they're doing to compare yourself. And it just tells you how many page likes they have, how much that their engagement is up from the previous week, how many posts they've had this week, and what their engagement is like this week. So it gives you a little bit of a bar. In your insights, you can look at specific things just like likes, tells you how many likes you have had over time, whether or not people liked your page on your page or on their phone, or maybe someone suggested, or maybe it showed up on their feed as a suggestion to like your page. Gives you a little bit of an idea where people who like your page are coming from. Gives you an idea where your fans are coming from. You can also look at your reach. This lets you know how many people are seeing your posts. Also breaks it down easier to see how many people are liking, commenting, and sharing on your posts. So we are much more likely to get likes than we are to get comments or shares, and that's just because it's easier. The people who are commenting and sharing our material have a closer relationship with us than those who are just liking it. We can also look at visits to our page. We can see if people just looked at our timeline. Did they go to our photos? Did it lead them to our website? Lets us know where people are being referred to our Facebook page from. You can also look at posts. I can see what kind of a post I did. Was it a picture? Was it a link? Was it just words? Was I sharing someone else's material? And I can kind of compare and see what has the best reach and the best engagement. And you can also boost from this platform as well. Now, the really exciting one, the people. This is one of the best tabs on Insight because it tells you who your fans are. It's really easy to see that we have more female fans than male fans. 87% of our fans are women. So this really helps us when we're creating posts, when we're thinking about who we want to boost to. Do we want to increase our male audience, or do we want to focus on our female audience that's already there? Also gives us an idea of our age ranges and what ages are most engaged with us. So our most engaged age range is 25 years old to 35 years old. You can use this to kind of Google more information about these specific age groups and genders, which can help you do some research on how to target them too. Also tells you where your fans are living. Then let's take a look at some publishing tools. So you can schedule posts on Facebook from here. You can do drafts. You can look at old posts, or you can create new posts, which is also something you can do just from your page. But say I want to do an offer or an event. That offer button takes me to a little advertisement. So these you should see on your feed all the time if you're already on Facebook. Often from big companies, giving you discounts or leading you to their website for a buy one, get one free or Memorial Day sale or all these kinds of things. So I can give it a title, 25% off, buy one, get one free, those kinds of things. Then you can add a description to your ad, and then you pick an image. The important thing with this is to pick images that don't have very much text, and Facebook actually has rules about that. Your images can only have so much text, which is because they're trying to help you. You want to stand out in your news feed, so you need something that's going to catch the eye. Make your description short, tell them what matters. Yeah, so this is how you set up an offer when you want to start it on, a link to where they can redeem it, terms and conditions, blah, blah, blah. Super easy. You can also post an event. Say you're having a birthday party, or say you're having a special something that you want to invite people to. You name the event, give details, give a location. If you want to have tickets, you can add a link for that, and you can create an event. It also gives you a potential audience. So this event would be created for everyone. So this is an open event that everyone who sees this is able to attend. So keep that in mind. All right, and I think the last thing I wanted to show you is that you have another button right here that says promote. This is on your main page, and it gives you specific actions for ads. So you can push people to your website, you can try to get more likes, you can just do a general promotion or get people to take an action, such as to book you now, which we have right here on our page. So that's how you create an ad from your page. So if we click promote your website, this pops up, and again we can do some targeting. We can pick a location for our audience, things they're interested in, an age group, a gender. Then we pick a budget and a time range. And that's how you run an ad. You can see how it shows up on mobile and desktop. And if you want to edit it, you just hit that edit button. You can change your headline, your text, and the URL for that website. If you want to have a different image than what is on your auto image, you just hit upload. All right, so those are the bones of Facebook, how to use it. Like we've talked about in the PowerPoint, really pay attention to those insights, those free analytics you get about your followers and your posts and your page. And use that to leverage your brand and to make your ads more targeted and more valuable for the people they matter to. So now that we've talked about how to create an ideal Facebook post and how to maintain an ideal Facebook page, we're just going to cover some basic tips and tricks for success when you're marketing with Facebook. So we've touched on this a little bit, but definitely remember to stay active. You want to post content on a regular basis. We've talked about Facebook and social media in relation to personal relationships. This is a good example of that. If you were to go a few months without talking to someone in your personal life, you probably wouldn't be very good friends or have a very good relationship. It's the same on social media and with your online relationships. You want to be present, and you have to post content and make sure people know that you still exist, and make sure that you're acting like you know they still exist. So in terms of staying active, you also want to make sure you stay active with your strategies for building relationships and cross-promoting, which is just all about commenting on and sharing the posts of other businesses. You want to do that because you want them to do that for you. You're helping each other out. You're letting people know about what they're doing, and they're going to let their people know about what you're doing. You also want to make sure you're replying to all comments on your posts and reviews. We've also touched on this a little bit, but you don't want people to feel ignored. You wouldn't want to feel ignored. So if they ask a question, answer it. If they comment, definitely give some response. You can like their comment or just let them know that you know they said something and that you're there and you're trying to build a relationship with them. So you also want to pay attention, obviously. We kind of talked about the analytics. You want to use those to find out more about your target audience. You can find out what times of day you get the most activity, what kind of posts have the best response, who is most interested in your content. You can find out all sorts of things with the analytics. So pay attention to those. Spend time getting to know how they work, and then revisit it constantly to make sure you get the most out of that awesome free tool. Next, you want to make sure you're differentiating content. So it's really easy to take the things you're putting on other platforms like Twitter and Instagram and post them on your Facebook, because it gives you that option. If you go to put a picture on Facebook, there's this button that says share, and you have the option to share it on all these other platforms. You don't want to do that all the time, because why would they follow you on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram if it's all the exact same post? They're all made to focus on different types of content, and use that to your advantage and definitely differentiate. Give people different things in different places. You also want to be diverse. So Facebook is the marketing platform that lets you do it all. You can use text, video, and photos. You can create events, you can collect reviews, you can run advertisements. You can do so many things with Facebook that you can't do with other platforms. So use those things and get to know Facebook and all it has to offer your brand, because it can do so much for you. So that's it. That's Facebook. It's pretty easy. You just got to take some time to figure it out and make it yours, and make sure you're representing your brand. If you have any questions, you can email me. There's also going to be a follow-up e-course to this one that will help you build some strategy when you're thinking about how to market with Facebook. So once you've done all the things we've talked about today, you've created a page, you're making sure that it represents your brand, and you have good pictures, and you're starting to create good content, good variety of content, and you're ready for the next step, just stay tuned for that second e-course to follow up with this one so you can succeed with marketing with Facebook even more.